Fact, South Africans are absolutely nuts about SUVs. And it wasn't too long ago that driving around on our roads, you would have seen 1 out of every 3 SUVs would have had the Jeep badge on it. Have a look around now, things have changed. It seems like Chrysler's domination has kind of come crumbling down. Why have things changed? Well, I guess as South Africans, our tastes in SUVs have lent towards the more exclusive, exotic European styling. But I'm happy to say that I have a feeling it's all about to change with Jeep's brand new Grand Cherokee.
The 4th generation Grand Cherokee is built on the same platform as the Mercedes-Benz ML, which gives a clue to the big Jeep's more urbanized aspirations. Traditionalists might scoff at this, but as Jeep's first new model since parent Chrysler's merger with Fiat, it will have to appeal to a wider audience than people who wear khakis. It has a longer wheelbase than the outgoing model, and it's also much wider. Not so great for negotiating Sani Pass, but brilliant when you consider the vast rear legroom and boot space.
It's all in the looks, isn't it? Super, super clean, elegant lines. Kind of European styling, I guess. I love the high shoulders. So for me, it looks very, very masculine and certainly is a head turner. Getting inside is where people are expecting to see a big change. I'm happy to say they haven't let us down, because the previous generations had that real American ding, 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 plastic, knobby feel to it. And they've certainly upped the level of plushness, leather throughout, better quality finishes, soft touch in certain places. Is it up to European standards? Not quite yet. I mean, for me, you look at the fascia in particular with the multimedia system, a little bit outdated, a little bit old-fashioned, a little bit clunky, which is a problem. The wood, I know they've gone for this luxury, exotic, wow, look, I've achieved so much look, but I just don't like wood at all. We saw it in the Prada as well. I think it's silly, think it's impractical. I'm not sailing a boat, I'm driving an SUV after all. Anyway, that's up to personal preference, I guess. But the interior really, really is pretty plush. So high five to Jeep for improving on that as well. But I think the biggest thrill factor is going to come in terms of the drive. And I'm not worried about off-road, because we always know that the Jeeps have been competent off-road, but it's how it actually handles on-road. And I think the biggest change there is they've actually going to put an independent rear suspension in, so way more dynamic, way more comfortable ride. So it really is comforting over all the bumps. And standard across both derivatives is the air suspension. So that really is something that is pretty dynamic and special. With a maximum reach of 104 millimeters, the air suspension is going to adapt depending on the mode that you've set up. So they've got quite a similar little console that you find on your Land Rovers, on the Discoveries, where you can select terrain, and depending on terrain mode that you're selecting, it's going to adjust the height accordingly. So very cool. You can put it into sport mode and it goes down to the lowest aerodynamic package, and then obviously setting it all the way up to rock crawl mode. It's got full low range, so yes, super competent off-road, but we always knew that. But I've really been enjoying the drive on-road. 2 engines out at the moment, both of them are petrol, the 3.6 litre V6, and then of course that engine we all love, the 5.7 litre V8 Hemi. We're in the 3.6 litre. I know a lot of guys are going to say, it's a little bit underpowered. Really, I think it's fine. What you are going to probably moan about is the gearbox. 5-speed auto, it is a bit sluggish, it does feel a little bit old. I suppose that's one area they can still work on. So in terms of performance figures, the 3.6 is pushing out 210 kilowatts, 347 newton meters of torque, and then the big beast, that 5.7 litre Hemi, 259 up to 520, so plenty of grunt there. You're noticing I'm not mentioning diesel. That is the big problem I have. They really do need to bring out a diesel. I think in South Africa now, and that would be their big popular seller. So I'm sure there are plans for it down the line, but at the moment it's only those 2 petrol engines. A lot of people are obviously going to want to be towing with them, and they're competent with that as well. The 3.6 is a 2.2 ton towing rate, heading up to 3.5 when you get up into the 5.7 litres. There are 2 spec levels that they do have. You've got the Overland, which is top of the range, and then the limited edition. So the real interesting discussion is, how is the Jeep going to stack up against its competitors? For me, I think the real thing comes into spec level and price. Bang for buck, this thing is going to come up streets ahead. Looking at those 2 spec levels, whether you go limited edition or overland in the 3.6 litre. It's starting at 531 going up to 580 grand for the 3.6, and obviously the 5.7 Hemi only comes in the high spec overland, and that's 637 grand, but it comes with everything. Leather seats, the driver's seat's got an 8-way electronic adjustment system, it's got rear camera, it's got an infotainment system with voice activation as well, navigation, the rear boot flips open, a double pane sunroof, you name it, they've put this all inside this car. So there's no big shopping basket of extras. You walk in, pick your Cherokee, and this is how it comes. And I think that is where the strength lies. Its competitors are probably close to 100,000 Rand more. And I think that's where it's going to be a very interesting debate. Times are tough out there, people don't have the money. Cherokee's certainly answering that call. All in all, unbelievable package, well priced, great to drive. It's good to have them back on the road.